If your home was built sometime in the last 20 years, you want to keep a close eye on your ceiling over the next few days. This changing weather could do a number on your attic. Just ask Wes Lysick. He lives in the Northwest. His home's only a few years old. And he recently noticed water dripping from a light fixture.
Water travels the path of least resistance and usually finds an outlet like that and come down. So I went up in my attic and saw that there was a whole bunch of frost buildup.
When that frost melted, it wreaked havoc. It's called attic rain, and it tends to happen when the weather warms up after a period of extreme cold, like we're going through now. Jeff Howell knows about it. He's a home inspector here in Calgary. Good morning.
Morning.
Thanks for joining us, Jeff. What exactly is attic rain?
Attic rain is a relatively new phrase, but basically it's large accumulations of frost that build up in the attic. And then when a temperature warms up, that frost melts and creates problems.
What kind of home or roof is susceptible?
Well, nothing to do with the roof. It's basically homes that were built, from what we're seeing it, kind of within the last 15-year time frame.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, it's basically caused by two things. So the two main causes are going to be leaks. So basically air leakage from the house going up into the attic, and a higher air pressure inside the house versus the air pressure that's in the attic. So that higher air pressure is forcing that air up.
Why does that only happen in a newer home? What's the construction technique that's causing that? Do you know?
Well, with our new building practices here, everything's so geared towards energy efficiency and Energy Star ratings and everything. So our new houses, there's these basically sealed envelopes, so the houses don't breathe like they used to. So we've got these new ventilation systems and heat recovery ventilators and whole house fans, that sort of thing, that's supposed to help the house breathe. But if there's any type of, like on the second floor, you got pot lights, bathroom exhaust fans. A lot of new houses have speakers in them. That's very common now. Attic hatches that aren't sealed properly. So those are all leakage spots. So that's kind of the main two areas that we're seeing the problems with. Controlling the humidity in the house too is also very important. A lot of builders.
So the house is too tight. That's what's going on. It's built too tight.
Essentially. But that's the way that they're built now, and they've got systems in place to remediate that or to work with that. But like an older house that's built in, say, like the 70s, through their inherent defects, they breathe a lot better. And it's also the heating systems too.
It's the first good thing I've heard about inherent defects in your home. So, all right. So if somebody's worried about this right now, what can they do? Do you open a window? Is that going to make a difference?
No, that wouldn't really make a difference. A lot of the new houses, because we're talking about new houses, they come with ventilation fans. So if someone were to go to where their thermostat is, there's probably what looks like just a light switch there. Mm-hmm. But it'll be labeled ventilation fan. You can turn that on. And what that's going to do is that'll exhaust house air outside and then draw in fresh air from outside as well. So it's going to help balance that pressure. Sometimes that's good enough just to stop the attic rain from happening. But if you've already got large amounts of frost up there, you're going to need to identify where those leakage spots are. So probably a blower door test would be the best idea for that. So you call a professional in to do a blower door test. They identify all the leakage spots. You seal those up.
All right, so that may be one remedy. What about for people who, and I hear this a lot, have a newer home with those beautiful glistening hardwood floors, and so they crank up the humidifier to, like, say, 40%, because the last thing they want is in that cold, dry period for their hardwood floors to crack anywhere. Are those humidifiers actually working against them, causing this?
Yeah, that's as it gets colder outside. The colder it gets, the less humidity you want to have in your house. So a good sign of that is if you're noticing on your nice new windows that you've got water droplets, the same way your glass would condense if you have a nice cold beverage on a hot summer day. If you got that happening on your windows, then you know your humidity is set too high. So when it was minus 25 here, for me, I just turned mine off because I don't want to deal with it, but, probably turn it down to about 10, 15 having it at 40% is definitely much too high.
That would be a bad thing. All right. So is it just the newer homes? Or are you seeing this in condo buildings and apartments, that kind of thing?
Well, you could certainly get it in a row house, like a townhouse. Apartments, not so much. Apartments, it's just the four walls, but it's more going to be in the attic spaces. That's really where we're seeing it.
So there is an expensive tool for this, isn't there? You could buy a heat recovery ventilator, which would sit above your furnace. But how much do those go for?
I've never really looked into them as how much they cost. I've heard around the $2,000 to $3,000 range, depending what type, because there's different types you can get. But those are certainly something that I would recommend getting put in. So those will draw air in from outside as well, and then also exhaust house air outside. And then as that air is coming back into the house, it's cross-fed with the return air, so it actually preheats the air, so it adds a little bit of efficiency to your furnace. And there's filters in it too, so it increases the air quality inside the home as well.
Great, more filters that need changing.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well, look, thanks for bringing this to our awareness. I appreciate you taking the time to join us today.
Okay, no problem. Have a good day.
That's Jeff Howells. He's the owner of New Level Inspections, a residential and commercial property inspection company in Calgary.